Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. For those who are new, welcome. My name is Monica. In today's video, I'm going to do my mid-month wrap-up. So far I have read, well, 22 books. And we're not going to talk about all 22 because it was kind of a hit or miss. And it was a lot. There was definitely a few misses in this. But the first book I want to talk about is The Very Secret Society of Irregular Witches by Sangyu Mandana. I read the second book before I read the first book, and I gave The Very Secret Society of Irregular Witches 4 stars. I really liked it. It had all the vibes I wanted. It was about Mika, who is a witch, and she helped 3 little girls hone their magic. And Jamie is the grumpy guardian, and I just really liked it. It was so much fun, and it was cozy and had all the vibes I was looking for. I really liked Mika. I really liked how she held people accountable as Jamie grew and he started falling for Mika, and how they just sort of got together. And I loved the little girls. They were fantastic, and I would absolutely recommend that one. Then I had a DNF, and we're not going to talk about that one. But then I read a trilogy. It was the Lost Elemental trilogy. No, it's actually the Royals of Kingwood Academy trilogy by Tessa Hale. This is the last series that I have to read from her, so I have now read her entire backlist. Then this one's about Aura. She's new to the magical world, and she is the fated mate of all the royal boys. And this is out of school, so it's kind of like Mean Girls, but a paranormal vibe Mean Girls. I really liked this one. The whole trilogy was a lot of fun. I give them all 4 stars. The plot was really interesting, and it was about her parentage and who she really was. And I feel like it had a lot of fun twists, and I loved the main characters, and I loved her royal boys. They all had their unique voices. I loved Aura. She was a very strong, feisty character, and I will say this is one of my least favorite series or trilogies from Tessa Hale, but it's still really strong. I gave all 4 of those books 4 stars. It was The Lost Elemental, The Last Aether, and The Queen of Quintessence. And then I read Direbound. She's a thick girl, but she was worth every single moment, and I gave this book 5 stars. It lived up to the hype. We have Marin. She is a badass heroine who had very good motivation to succeed. She wanted to save her sister. Her sister was kidnapped, and so she joins the army to go find her sister at the front line. She had to go through this process where she had to scale a mountain and see if she could bond with a direwolf, and she didn't want to, but she did anyway, and it really unlocked a whole measures of secrets. She was somewhat frustrating at times because she was like, I am who I am. I just want to go save my sister. She didn't question things as well as she should have, which I absolutely loved that because I loved flawed character. So give me a flawed character and one who grows, and she did. She grew leaps and bounds through this. And we have Stark. I knew exactly who he was going to be, and her love interest Lee, he was interesting and what happens with him. And her direwolf, Anessa. Loved Anessa. This book is just fantastic. Someone said it was kind of like Fourth Wing, but with direwolves, and yeah, it is. But I really liked the characters, so I would recommend that one. And then I read the Stars of Mithra trilogy by Nora Roberts. It started with Hidden Stars. I gave that one 4 stars. It was a really good, solid beginning. And this one is Bailey and Cade. Bailey found Cade in a phone book because his last name was Paris, and she needed him to find someone for her. She needed him to find out who she was because she had an amnesia. She had a bag full of money, this very large diamond, and a gun. And she's terrified that she's a villain. And so she hires this private investigator to find out who she is. And come to find out, there's a lot that happens. And I really liked it. It is definitely insta-love. This is an earlier Nora Roberts, so you're going to get some of the insta-lovey stuff that she does sometimes. But I really liked how she used the amnesia trope in this, and I really liked the romance. I thought it was fantastic. And then the next book in that trilogy is Captive Star. This is my least favorite one. This is Jack Dakota and MJ O'Leary, and Jack is a bounty hunter and someone files a wrong report and he goes after MJ. So there are 3 gemstones and they're the stars of Mithra. And Bailey, she finds out at the end that there's 3 of them, and she sent them to her 2 best friends, and her best friend MJ got one, and the bad guys are trying to get the gemstone from her and to kill her. And so Jack inadvertently gets involved in it because he's hired to find her, and it goes from there. It was, again, a little unsloppy, but I also didn't particularly like Jack. I thought that he was a bit of a dick. So third one is my favorite, and it says The Secret Star, and it's about Seth Buchanan. He's a lieutenant police officer, and he thinks that Grace Fontaine is dead, but it's someone else. And so she has the last star, and I believe it could be either ruby or a one was a ruby, one was a sapphire. But here's the thing, the guy who wanted it wants Grace as well. So he wants all the stars of Mithra and he wants Grace. And so Seth is very ultra protective, and I love Grace. She knows how to verbally put a man in his place. I absolutely loved her. I loved Seth. I loved how he had to learn and grow, and that he was able to get out of his head and figure things out. So that one I gave 4.5 stars. So I would say that's a solid series if you want to get into it. And then the next book I read was Secret Haven by Catherine Cowles. I had an ALC of this and I gave it 5 stars, and it's the last book in the Spiral Falls series. This is a hilarious grandma. It's Marriage of Convenience. I love the Marriage of Convenience. It's single guardian, friends to lovers, found family, and it's forbidden because Kai is the foster brother to Fallon. They fell in love when they were teenagers, right before his father hurt him and he had to go live with the Coulsons. And he wanted to live with the Coulsons because he did not want to go to a group home. So they stopped their relationship right there and just became platonic, but really they weren't. They secretly pined for each other. It was always been you trope. Like, I love the always been you trope. And this one, I recommend. I loved the found family. Of course, I love Molly and Walter, but I also really loved Fallon and Kai and how they reacted to each other and how they grew, and how they dealt with people judging them because they were like, oh, this is a little incesty. It was not. They're not even related. They were in love with each other way before he needed a place to stay that was safe. And I really just absolutely loved everything about this book. The pace was perfect, and I really loved the suspense plot in this. And I don't want to say any more because I don't want to ruin it for you, but this one, my favorites is Beautiful Exile and Secret Haven. And then Fragile Sanctuary. So just saying, those are my top 3. And it's coming out on the 21st, so you should definitely go pick that one up. Hey guys, I was editing this video and I realized that I forgot to talk about Mate, and I really want to talk about Mate because I gave it 5 stars. I absolutely adored this book. This is about Serena and Cohen, and he is aware she is half were, half human, and he is an alpha, and he knows that Serena is his mate, but he can't really do anything about it because he took an oath not to have carnal relations with other people. With anyone, and he knew that if he would start with Serena, he was never gonna stop. And I absolutely adored their banter back and forth. I absolutely adored how the romance progressed, and it was definitely slower. I just loved how they were reluctant at the beginning until they couldn't live without each other. I mean, this was just so good. I ate this one up. I think if you loved Bride, you're gonna love this one. I'm not sure if you didn't like Bride, you might not like this one, but I did. I gave 5 stars and I would recommend it. And then last weekend on Friday night, I got 3 ALCs from NetGalley. I was color me shocked. I really was shocked. Like, I never get anything from NetGalley, but I did. I got 3 in a row and I was all happy. So I spent the weekend doing a puzzle and listening to ARCs, or ALCs. And the first one was A Curse of Shadows and Ice by Katerina Mora. This is her romantasy that's being republished. I gave it 5 stars. I flipping loved this book. It was so good. This one's about Princess Arabella, and she's forced to marry Felix Osiris. Her father is a piece of crap, and Felix is the Shadow Emperor, and he has a very bad reputation of being, well, he deserved his reputation because he's very powerful and people were afraid of him. But he needed Arabella to break a curse, right? A curse over him and his kingdom. And he really loved his kingdom and he loved his people. And so he did force this girl to marry him. And there was one scene where it felt a little like Dupcom, but it didn't at the same time. It's a little hard to explain, but you're going to have to read it in order to see what I'm seeing. But here's the thing. They were both very attracted to each other. They both really liked each other. This feels like the Disney version of Beauty and the Beast, but darker, because you had the same kind of beats with the Beauty and the Beast movie than you did with the book. But it was a darker version of it, and it was smuttier version of it. And I just really had fun. I really liked the magic system. I really liked how it explained. I loved the character development was perfect in this book. I absolutely loved our characters. I gave it 5 stars. I mean, there's so much to this world, and I would recommend it when it comes out, but it's coming out on October 28th, so I would recommend you go check it out when it comes out. The next ALC I read over the weekend was Through the Loop by Sarina Bowen. I gave this one 4.5 stars. I'm still thinking about this book. It was really, really well done. It's dual timeline, 10 years earlier. He's 19, I think she's 18. She's a figure skater. He's a hockey player. He trips on a toe pick. They used the iconic line, toe pick. Anyway, so they have this very intense romance when they're younger. He's her first on a lot of things in that summer. And then something happens and they split up. Well, now she is the new skating coach on the hockey team that he plays in. And he is just struggling. He doesn't know why his skating is off and stuff. And she figures it out fairly quickly. And then she's just trying to get people to take her seriously and to want to be coached by her because she's a woman in the NHL. And that is definitely something very hard to do. And I really liked what Sarina Bowen was saying with that. I also really loved Zoe and Chase. I loved their dynamic. I loved their character growth. And I love the fact that they talked to each other and they had to deal with what happened to them 10 years ago and why they had that very nasty split after basically they were in love with each other and then something happened and it caused them to split. So the last ALC I had from NetGalley was A Little Holiday Fling by Farrah Heron. She is a new to me author, and it was really cute. This one is about Ruby, and she loves everything Christmas, and Rashad, he is very, very grumpy and thinks Christmas is stupid. She loves the season, and the way they meet is she hits him with a Christmas tree while she's walking home in downtown Toronto from a Christmas tree lot because she needed to get a Christmas tree, and he helped her home. And then they were set up on a date. He's a dermatologist, and there's a Southeast Asian rep in this book, and I really like the UK rep as well. And I really liked Rashad, and I really liked Ruby, and I felt like the Indian culture in this was really authentic. I was in the world that they were building, and the author wrote a very diverse community and the commentary on how the holidays could be spent in different cultures and with the different communities and religions and stuff. And she was saying that there's an importance with family, whether it's found or biological, whatever it is. Like, this was a very inclusive book, and I appreciated everything she's done with this. I liked Ruby and Rashad, and I liked how they got to their AGA, and I gave it 4 stars, and I would recommend you pick it up when it comes out on the 21st, which is next week. I finished Blood on Her Tongue, I finished Wayward, and I finished Upon a Starlit Tide, and those are going to be part of a vlog that I will talk about later, so that's when I'm going to talk about them. But I did give 2 of them 3 stars, and I gave 1 of them 4 stars. And if you want to know why, you're gonna have to wait for that vlog. I am vlogging, and it's gonna come out next week. I'm vlogging the historical fiction readathon that's put on by Christy and Tori. But anyway, I right now am thoroughly enjoying Bewitching, and I'm going to end this here so I can make that update for that vlog there for you. And anyway, those are what I've read for the first half of October. Let me know if you've read any of them, or are you planning on picking up any of those arcs when they come out, or let me know all the things. I just want to know all the things. And if you made this far in this video and you want to let me know that you're here, please leave me a cat emoji in ode to Walter, sound asleep behind me this whole entire time. He's being good. And until next time, my friends, happy reading. Bye.